I need to acknowledge this. I need to acknowledge this. So Spyro fan number 1 is a regular viewer of my videos, a regular commenter on my videos, and he keeps talking about this, and I think his voice needs to be heard through me talking about this. I think it's worth exploring for sure. Okay, so on a video I made called DNA Test Results Review, Why My Dad is 99% the Same. Spyro fan number 1 said this, quote, "Know this, I emailed a guy from MyHeritage, which is the brand that I like, why my results were so different from my 23andMe results. He said it's because they have less DNA samples than the competing companies. That explains why 23andMe says that your sister is more Italian than your mom's MyHeritage results." You see explicitly mentioned, I have the email to prove if you want, which I don't need the email. I easily believe that. I have no trouble believing that. He goes on to say, quote, "Also, if this is exciting on 23andMe, you can connect with your parents and they can tell you how much of an ethnicity I get from each parent. I'm Italian and it says I get more of it from my mom," end quote. So, you know, let's talk about how I feel. Let's talk about my reaction to the concept that ultimately 23andMe has more DNA samples than MyHeritage, and therefore MyHeritage has less DNA samples than 23andMe. How does that make me feel? I think it ultimately comes down to the person's preference. It doesn't bother me to know that MyHeritage has less samples. That doesn't bother me. I feel that based on the test that I took and my mom took, that it's accurate enough to look at a good glimpse of where we came from. I think ultimately these DNA tests, what they do is they're here to show you a glimpse of your overall lineage. And that's the perspective I want. I want a perspective that is a little bit more abstract than so literal. Like, I care less about knowing just the last 3 generations. I care more about that ancient reach, as I like to call it. And even if they have less samples, I just think that MyHeritage, it paints the picture that in my mind makes the most sense. So I'm making this video though ultimately to just broadcast that and to see how we feel about that. Does that bother us that MyHeritage apparently has less DNA samples than the rest, that they haven't caught up to the rest, and the theory that once they do, then their results will resemble the other companies? How do we feel about that? Ultimately, it doesn't bother me, because in the end, these tests are ultimately a glimpse, and ultimately I'm okay with the fact that they're really a form of enlightened entertainment, and there's no shame in that. I mean, imagine how much entertainment we're getting from these DNA test results. Imagine how much time I spend making videos about this stuff, and how much time people spend watching these videos and commenting, which therefore produce and yield me to make more videos like I'm making now. So if nothing else, even in the name of entertainment, I think they're all doing a good job. And I think if nothing else, then that's a good thing for MyHeritage. If they have less samples and that produces different results than other companies, if it's all supposed to be taken with a grain of salt in the end, then I say, what's the problem there? It doesn't bother my conscience. Does it bother anyone else's? That's why I'm making the video. I'm asking how everyone else feels about it.